native. He's recording his next album next month, and actually his second album premiered at #1 on Amazon. But without further ado, let's hear it from Mr. Matthew Tate.
Wow, Athens, holy shit, how the hell are you tonight? Good, that's what I'd like to hear. Coincidental, I'm also doing very woo. Oh man, give it up for yourselves for coming out making your Thursday night better than thank you. We're going for the lovely staff here at Athens Alehouse for letting us do this. Oh man. Oh, that wasn't very much applause for the staff here. Thank you for getting us drunk. Guys, it's good to be here tonight. It's good to be here tonight. I almost wasn't here tonight, but the news snapped, so here we are. It's good to be here. It's good to be here. 2022, holy shit, we made it. Can you believe it, guys? Yeah. Do you feel any different? No. Me neither, man. How's everybody's 2020 Part 3 going? Yeah, nobody likes it when I refer to it as that. Who would have thought? Last year was a clusterfuck for me, man. Yeah. Last year started out in a real fun way. You all remember that one time, that fun one time? You know, I got broken up with 10 minutes before I had to go host a comedy show one day before our anniversary. Yeah, I was like, oof, baby, that hurts. I kind of preferred when you hit me instead. I'm fine. Start getting back into the dating again after that. Dating is fucking rough, right? Dating's a fucking nightmare, you know? Went on 4 dates with this one lady before on date number 4, she informed me that she in fact had a whole ass husband at home. Yeah, they were swingers. I ghosted her quicker than Neil Young ghosted Spotify. Let me tell you. Yeah. One thing I've found, if old Matthew Tate has learned one thing in his 35 years on this bullshit planet, it's that open marriages are kind of like the two-party system. They don't work. Been going through a little bit of the depression, you know? Where are my depressed people at? Thursday night, comedy show in Athens, Alabama, that checks out. One of my buddies recently told me, Matthew, you should probably go into therapy. And I was like, I don't know about that, Todd. You know, like, therapists get tired of hearing about my bullshit too. Plus, I have to pay them instead of the other way around. What kind of horse shit is that, you know? Matter of fact, last therapist I saw, he wanted to do some of these old-timey sort of like stereotypical 1920s era style treatments on me, like the ink blot test. Are y'all familiar with that one? Yeah, that's where your therapist shows you a mess he made on a sheet of paper and says, Mr. Tate, what does this ink blot look like to you? And you go, Dad, is that you? And it's not. It's never him. He's not there. Miss my old band a lot, you know, during this time of year, especially the colder months, you know, especially around the holidays. You know, November was rough for me. I get reminiscent about all those old great times we had together, you know, just me and my old man sitting on the couch, you know, eating turkey sandwiches, watching football. Just the two of us on Thanksgiving, because none of the rest of the family wanted anything to do with us. Where was I before I so rudely interrupted myself? Therapy, that's right. So the therapist says, well, Mr. Tate, the next game we're going to play, it's a little word association game. I'm going to tell you a series of words, and then you tell me the first words to pop into your head. And I was like, well, this seems like a fucking waste of time, Dr. Freud, but I finally have some health insurance at the age of 35, so I'll play your sick, twisted game, you little bastard from the Saw movies. He said, okay, Mr. Tate, your first words are white noise. And I said, did you mean MSNBC? He didn't find that nearly as funny. He kicked me out, in fact. They had that playing on the TVs in the lobby. I think they had to make sure anybody attending actually needed psychological help. It's not all bad, though. Depression, has its comforts, too. You can take a lot of extra comfort and, the mundane things you get to enjoy at the end of the day. Like I, for example, cannot wait to go home tonight and take a nice hot bath, with my favorite toaster, Depression will really have you, neglecting a lot of important day-to-day responsibilities in your life. Like, for example, maybe y'all ever been, sitting at home, maybe on a Thursday night after a comedy show, and 3 bottles of wine deep, you suddenly say to yourself, man, this gun tastes like I haven't cleaned it in a while. I mean? Help me. Yeah. It's not all bad, though. I still have a day job. Boy, that's fucking horrible. Am I right? Yeah, comedy's taking the fuck off in 2022, They used to say at the beginning of all this, there were no jobs out there in a pandemic. I happen to know that's bullshit. They'll hire fucking anybody right now. I'll tell you, I've seen it. I wait tables for a living. If any of you have not gotten a chance to do that, you can skip it. Waiting tables fucking sucks. We had this new hire recently. Her first day out of training, her first day getting to wait tables on her own. I witnessed this interaction between her and a gentleman at one of her tables. The gentleman says, yes, I would like an Arnold Palmer to drink. And this new server says, I'm sorry, sir, but we don't serve alcohol here. We all see what's wrong with this, right? Somebody help me out here. What's an Arnold Palmer?
Sweet tea and lemonade.
Thank you. And that's not the only fucking problem, Brittany. We do serve alcohol here. How did you get this job? Yeah, not everybody should have any type of job. For example, I don't think I should be allowed to be the phone operator at a suicide prevention hotline, Can you imagine how that would go? I pick up the phone one day and a guy on the other line says, I just feel like the world would be a better place if I wasn't in it. And I'd be like, I don't know, Steve, maybe. That seems like a very Steve to Steve sort of conversation you need to have with yourself. Ask yourself the hard-hitting questions like what do I really contribute to society? What do I do to counteract my carbon footprint upon this world? I tell you what, Steve, for me, it's not a whole hell of a lot. On the weekends, I sell dick jokes to drunken strangers. And then during the week, I bring high-calorie, not necessarily nutritional food to people who are actively dying from the consumption of high-calorie, not necessarily nutritional food. I'm like an underpaid, undereducated Dr. Kevorkian. Steve, do you see what I'm saying? That's why, Steve, I'm trying to balance out the old karmic sheet here on the weekend since I'm balancing the scales, but not in the right direction. Here, working at the Suicide Encouragement Hotline. Wait, is that what we're doing here? I've lost track, Steve. You know what, Steve? I've been thinking about checking out myself lately. Not like in the mirror, like, oh, damn, I look fine. No, I'm saying checking out. Tell you what, Steve, but I don't think we should die alone. Let's meet up and make it a fucking party. What do you say, Steve? Where are you at? I'll meet you there. What's that, Steve? You're staying at one of the murder motels that line the streets of University Drive up and down glorious Rocket City, Alabama? Bet. The call center's just a breath away. I'll be there in 30 minutes, Steve. I'll bring the booze, you bring the cocaine and the heroin, because I'm 13 years clean and I don't really have any good connections anymore, 13 years clean sounds like a great accomplishment, but you can't take those chips with you, you know what I mean, Steve? But you know what, Steve? You're a terrible conversationalist. I can tell because I've been carrying this whole conversation, which is really weird considering where I work, Let's take advantage of some of that premium cable you get even at the shitty hotels, Steve. What do you want to watch while we're checking out in the motel room? Yeah, I'd like to watch Boston Legal. Do you like Boston Legal, Steve? No, you don't like Boston Legal? What the fuck is wrong with you, Steve? It's Emmy nominated. Like James Spader and William Shatner had the greatest bromance ever shown on the screen. It's a lot better than the rapport you and I have, Steve. Steve, I don't even think I can stand you anymore. You know, you just do what you're gonna do tonight, Steve. I'm gonna go back to work. Wait.
You're hired.
Well, shit, that's not what I was supposed to do at all. The point is, not everybody should have any type of job, you know? Been trying to distract myself with a lot of things lately, you know, distract from everything that goes on up here. And what's the best way to do that? I'll tell you, it's finding new categories of porn. Yeah. I've been hit in the head so many times and running out of things to come to, you know what I mean? I snuggled up recently with my ass and back to the back of the couch because that's where I live now, because my bed doesn't feel like a place I belong anymore, you know, with a weighted blanket thrown over me, you know, because that reminds me of being hugged, I guess. And I started scrolling the categories, and I happened across one. I don't know if you have ventured into this one. It's the romantic category. Yeah. Fucking gross, right? Like, who would want to fuck anybody that they love? You know, that's disgusting. You need to see a psychologist, you know? I happened across this video, and I'm like, well, this is a new category for me. I'll see what it's about. Don't worry, I'll describe it in gross detail for you. So there's this interracial couple. Don't worry, that is important to the story. I'll tell you why in a little bit. And they are going to Pound Town. You know, I mean, it's not really Pound Town. It's Gentle Stroke Town, if you will. It's a white man and a black lady, and they are just making passionate, slow, tender love for the first 47 minutes and 31 seconds of this video. I watched it several times for research purposes. I am chafed. I had to count how many times they said they loved each other. It was 117 times, for the record. And slow going for this first 47 minutes and 31 seconds before finally their bestial instincts take over and they start really, you know, speeding things up. And this lasts for another whole 10 minutes. I was like, holy shit, I didn't know you could pump something that long, you know? Before he just finishes in grand fashion inside this lady, you know? He's finished, but he's not done, you know? Because at this point, 57 minutes and 31 seconds, he gingerly flips her over and spreads apart her butt cheeks and just dives into that like he's in the Olympics right now, you know? Like just dives into the crevasse, just, you know? Just eating the hell out of that ass, you know? And you can tell by looking at this man, this is not typically an ass man. No, asses are not his thing. This lady is his thing. He's not attracted to her ass. He just wants her essence. He loves her so much that he wants every bit of her inside him, or vice versa, you know? And he's just, you know, he starts thinking of this terrible alternate reality where he never met the love of his life, the woman who completed his very existence, and he starts crying, and now he's using the tears for lube to slip his tongue further and further into her pooper, you know? And like his face is gradually disappearing, you know, just becoming part of his better half, you know? As the tongue delves further into her Grand Canyon, it's like a reverse birth. And then finally, at the very climax of his ecstasy and about to be hers too, his tongue's most of the way in there, and he just goes, and that's when she comes so hard that her asshole just clenches shut and forms a Bane mask over his face, and he asphyxiates and dies. At a minute 24 and 19 seconds. And I think that's beautiful, you know? He died doing who he loved. Shouldn't we all aspire to such a thing? I don't know. Maybe that's not the takeaway. Maybe the takeaway is that I should stay away from the romantic porn. I guess in closing, stay away from the dating apps. They're all garbage. I have an idea for a new dating app where maybe you can tell the actual age of a person by cutting them in half and counting the rings. That's a terrible idea. Also, ladies, beware on the dating apps because guys are creeps. Let me let you know a little inside secret. Ladies on the dating apps, if you meet a guy who mentions the word cuddle, you know he means something. He does it on the reg, you know? Cuddling, more like cuddlingus, am I right? All right, I've been Matthew Tate. I have albums for sale. You guys have been lovely. Let's welcome back your host,